All right, let's jump into things. Where we are, a bit later again today, 11:38. First day of the month, 1st of November. So really sort of chugging along towards the end of the year. We got the election coming up in a couple of days. Incredible moves in metals overnight. Absolutely smashed, just completely unrelenting. So I'll get to those ones in a minute, and that I'll start off here with DXY because we're seeing DXY sort of respect the chart quite well. Um, Look, this is what we've been sort of looking for. The break of this big channel coming up here. That's fine. We got it. We've got this little corrective one that seems to be respecting it quite well coming through here. We had the little back test, a double back test actually down here. So we came down, back up. This is equivalent to this move over here, and then bang, continuing down here. So look, I still think we have a little bit more downside through here. We could see that sort of back here, this is the sort of the lower end of where the buyers were sort of sitting. Excuse me. If we sort of pop this through just for reference, bang, through there, and it's right on the money. So you can see that these sell downs, buy ups, these kind of things, somebody's looking at the charts and somebody's thinking, okay, where's the structural point that we can do it? This opposed to these sort of meltdowns that are just like what we've been seeing in Aussie for the last sort of month or so, about 3, 4 weeks or so. It's been a while on that now, but that's just been like sort of sell at all costs kind of thing. As I said, a number of times I've been like, I was trying to sort of catch the longs, and then I was like, okay, cool, cool, I'll jump on the shorts, and of course, sort of like, trying to jump on the shorts, and I just couldn't get an entry, like, because I didn't want to sort of just short it from the lows. I was like, look, I'll wait for it to come up to come down. Anyway, whatever, I'll get on to Aussie in a minute, we can cover that. Here with DXY at the moment, so we do have this little bit of a channel sort of forming up here. It was interesting overnight because we had a little bit of data out, and first of all, we had I think it was PCE. I was actually out and about last night. Went to see Coldplay, which the missus likes. Interesting enough, it was a good show. But yes, we're here for the charts. Excuse me. Let's just update this. Okay, so yeah, through the night we had core PCE here. We had employment cost index, so slightly down here, revised up with the core PCE, and coming in as expected. This did not really have much of an effect. I guess, I mean, look, it's no shock with it. It came in as expected, and that we saw US dollar kind of sort of sell off immediately after this one. Was it? Yeah, after this one. So, just trying to sort of like get my timing right with it all. Sold, excuse me, sold off more or less after this. This is what started the whole metals sell off as well. 11:30, if you remember that time. But this is the one that I found quite interesting. So this is Chicago PMI. And this was 46.6, expected a slight tick up. That's like 41.6 is shocking. That is like really like remember these sort of things. 50 is the baseline. Further away from 50 is like the either the stronger of the contraction in this case or expansion above 50. And this came in significantly lower. So that's bearish for the US dollar. But if you have a look at this, as 12:45, this one happened, and we look, where's 12:45? It'll be this big candle here. Yeah, and market just went bang and bought it up off this. I sent a message to a mate. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Like, why are they buying it off such shocking data? Like it just to me, it just didn't make sense. And obviously, look, it's come up here. It's retested these areas that we've sort of isolated. We've sort of looked at these points before. Then it's not sort of like a sort of arbitrary sort of place. Yes, there's a little bit of an overthrow of a couple of cents or so, but it came back up into this zone. So we know this is an area that they're watching out to, and obviously subsequently, bang, sold it down. Interesting thing with this though, this sell back down here, as I said yesterday. I will get to metals in a second because metals was a blind side for me. I thought, look, we'll try and we may get a bit of a pullback. Like there's a couple of little attempts to sort of break through, but there was no explosion. And I'll get to my sort of thoughts and feelings in that in a moment. But the point is, as this sort of came back down here, the flows did not go back into metals. Metals just hung at the lows at best all night. So they're very much under pressure in that at the moment. So we'll have to sort of see if we can sort of pick anything. But it's interesting, it's just the precious metals. Copper, I've dubbed it the heartbreaker because it is just, Your buys. Look, my style is in and out, in and out, in and out, which is perfect. But for some stupid reason, I've decided to fall in love with the idea of it breaking out and moving to the top side, and it's crushed my heart a couple of times with it. So yeah, screw that. I'm going back to my style of trading, which is highly profitable, and less heartache. So to me, it's a win-win-win situation. So anyway, I'll get to that. DXY coming back down here. We've got a couple of bounces. Couple of bounces. We are putting in technical lower lows, technical lower highs. One, two, three, four of them now. I think if we can get down underneath this wick here, eventually this is going to have a little bit of a meltdown low. Like they've really just, I mean, I've said this is what DXY does. Like if we zoom out a little bit and we look at other times DXYs that have been turning around, I'm talking from the highs. Look at these kind of moves here. Bang, all the way back up. Oh, here we go, selling down. No, bang, right up to the top. Oh, even lower here, bang, right back up. Like it's not a shock. And I said this at the bottom when it was moving up. This is how DXY works. I mean, look at this. This is over a much larger area as well. But look at this down, right back up to the top, even down low. Oh, it's going again. Oh, it's going again. Oh, even down, 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 and then out of nowhere, bang, goes up. Like you know what I mean? It's not. It's such a big market to turn around that it doesn't turn around in one go. Like you don't see little pops like sort of, for instance, say Aussie. Aussie can sort of go up here and then just come down here and then just keep on going back down. But this will do these kind of tops. And this is what I was saying, like as we were sort of coming up through here, you know, US dollar wrecking ball, yada yada. This is a very typical top of DXY on these particular really hard, fast moves. And by hard, fast, I just mean unrelenting, not really giving us space to get off. There's a lot of people that would have been trying to sort of capture this thing, and admittedly myself as well, because I was like, oh look, I'll wait, I'll be sort of diligent, I'll sort of wait to get up here. But this up down up down up down here, even this has sort of been sort of just rocking me, and I'm just like, geez, mate. So next time we get on a big DXY run and we see fanboys in charge, just keep hammering the dollar positions because even if you sort of time it wrong, look at how many opportunities you've got to get off. You know what I mean? Like it's not sort of like, oh, I might sort of end up sort of holding it at the top or something. No, you've got five or six times. If you don't get off in any of these positions and sort of lighten your dollar positions with so many bounces, well, I don't know what you're doing. But anyway, look, we are starting to sort of come back down here. We've got the measured move, so we've got a little target down here, 103.67, which, end of the day is still overall quite bullish. And this could result in another little move up like this, as I've sort of said. This is very much a possibility that we sort of get these sort of moves here. Because remember, these are the things we're coming up here. We found resistance. We'll come back here. It may not just come here. May come down here. May only come to here. We'll see. But the point is, there'll be this leg down here, and then there'll be this leg up here. And this is the one that's really going to determine whether we get the story of the US dollar going back to 108 or whatever. Which, unbelievable because really, a couple of weeks ago we were down at 100. So it has really sort of been firing up. So look, this is the leg we're in at the moment. This is quite obvious. You can see it with the channel here, which we're starting to form up, as I said, sort of like shore up this sort of channel through the back here. Let's get this one out of here. I think once this sort of breaks and then sort of maybe comes back up like above this level over here. Whoop, let's just drag it across like this. This kind of zone here, coupled with the idea that you're out of the channel, I think could be, okay, start of another push up over this idea. And look, we've got NFP tonight. NFP could just go bang straight up like this. Well, it'll be a candle over here. Or it could just sort of be bang straight down like this. I think it'll be quite a mover. We do have the election, of course, next week as well. Something to keep in mind. But I think, yeah, sort of, we could see, I've been saying, look, a little bit of sort of cooling off with this sort of thing. But that is not flowing into the normal sort of correlations. Like, as I said, like I was saying yesterday, that I thought gold was due to have another little push higher. Well, I've been saying gold push higher actually from the last week or so, and for the most part, I've been right. But I did sort of say that the thing to get gold to move to the next high wasn't necessarily a sell off in the US dollar, because as I've covered a couple of times, they're running in sync. They're running very much like, they're in that little part of the band where they actually can move both up or both down at the same time. So yeah, it's a interesting sort of time for it all, and certainly Aussie under pressure, under pressure, under pressure, and like it doesn't even matter. And I've been saying as well with the Aussie that like copper sort of holding up or even pushing a little bit up, that hasn't been enough to sort of spark Aussie. Equities are coming off now, which I did say while they were up towards the highs, Aussie wasn't responding with that either. Aussie wasn't responding on anything, and then that's why I was saying I was trying to get the short position, but I just couldn't, and they were selling it at absolute all costs. So yeah, it'd be interesting to sort of see where we go from here. But everything seems very stretched. Well, at least Aussie seems very stretched to the downside. We've got a potential sort of bottom coming in with that if we can get back above 66 in this session. So yeah, interesting to sort of see how we go. Anyway, so that's a bit of an overview of it all. I think sort of if we can sort of get down and say flip this candle, take out this wick down here, which we can see was that look perfectly in line, 103.80. 103.80, look for no, it's a pretty short move down here, and this is just a little measured move of this channel, to sort of give you a little bit of a price target down here. Would also come in line if we do get a little bit of an earlier meltdown here, not meltdown, a little bit of a push down here, would also come in line with this falling resistance of the top of this channel. Then we could see a little bit of a balance and sort of come back up over to the top side over here, maybe retest underside of some of these parts here. So look, that's plausible. We've got RSI's, it's tried to sort of get up, hasn't really done much in that. Look, it is pointing it down a little bit down here. So we'll see sort of what happens. 10 minutes and that. We got 12 o'clock. We got some volume coming in. We can sort of see how market sort of reacts from this and see if they want to just screw everybody and sort of jump it back up here, or if they are actually going to succumb to this, because we are in, of course, that lower sort of support area where we saw the market value it last time. And this is what I say, the reason that I think this could possibly go through this time is because, as we say, things don't go through first time. And this is first time back here. This is first time back here. Sorry, well, this is where it's set up. This is first time back here, and boom, market took off from it. The selling is still coming. They're coming back down very quickly, like, within a couple of candles. So, you know what I mean? You got to test the resolve of the buyers at this level. If the buyers aren't here, you got to think, okay, you got a measured move here, but that's kind of in no man's land. So your two little price targets or areas would be this area and this area down here. And this could sort of see a little bit of a reprieve of things. But yeah, measured move at 103.67, 68, this kind of thing in change. And then 103.46 is more likely an area structurally. Like this is just a little measured move. I mean, this is a pretty obvious channel. I've seen a couple of other people also reference it. So, sections of the market are looking at this. So I wouldn't be surprised if you do see some sort of reaction here, but structurally down here around 103.47, this kind of buy zone, well, sort of previous support area. So 2 seconds. And back. Yeah, so structurally, a pullback to 103.46 would be more likely. And if we have a look over the whole run, but we already got the fib set up here. This is still only at the 23%. We've been seeing a lot of this recently, like namely, obviously, with Aussie on the sell down. I was looking at that meltdown from gold last night, and that was just, lower time frames, of course, but that was 23%, 23%. If you get sort of continuation moves from 23%, it's still very, very bullish and very much in that strong move. So that's where I'd sort of say if we take out this 103.80, this is more an area where I think we may sort of see some reaction. And then, yeah, I guess more or less this move here, but I can't remember from when that one was. So I'm probably way over here trying to sort of call some bottom or some sort of top with it all. Yeah, we'll see how we go through here. There's a couple of bit of volume in a few minutes. All right, let's flip across. Let's have a look at gold because gold got absolutely slammed last night. And these kind of things, I was like, oh, they have the cutesy sayings, don't try and catch a knife or whatever, and all this kind of thing. Look, I was thinking that we would get a pullback. This drastic? No, I didn't see it, and I would have loved to be on the short side of these things here because this was just look at this on a low time frame. Look at that meltdown, and very well on the structure, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? It was holding, holding, holding. I actually caught a long. As I said, I was out and about. I had an order just sitting at the bottom of this wick here. I was at that concert and then sort of like I looked up and it came up here. I'm like, oh, look at this. I've just caught the lows. I thought it might be move like this and come back up through here and just obviously bang and it just went down and down and down. But these kind of moves here, so like you could say that this could be uh, something like this to sort of see if you're looking for continuations through here. I mean, that gives you, I don't even want to think where that would take you. I don't think this is the course of action, but that's how kind of that would, if this takes out the lows, you could be looking at 2,700, which we'll get to in a moment. But we'll see how we go with this. As I said, this is where I thought the buyers might have been sitting. It just cut through everything, all these zones. It just didn't care. And this is the thing I think sometimes with these trades where they're just like doesn't look at this. It doesn't matter what time frame you put it on. Oh, you got a little bit of a bounce. Yeah, so you do get a bounce from this little buyer's area here. So the market did sort of think about it, but then obviously just crushed through it a second time. And this is what I mean, sort of like, it's just unrelenting. There's no chance for people to get off. It's just people just, as I said, sell at all costs. So where to from here? Okay, let's build some little zones. I'd say that's your little area here. It's going to be very tough because I think a few people would have like sort of been trying to do capture some of this last night. That's a little zone for you here. We've got NFP tonight, so there's a good chance that this will just be dead quiet. Um, I would say underneath 43, you're looking back down at 33. There is a smaller little range support stepping stone in here, but I don't think that's enough to sort of really give us a. And this is 15 minutes, so let's get on to something more reasonable. Yeah, so you can see it's like there's little stepping things up here, but there's no explosion back up. So let's get rid of this because this was irrelevant, and to a certain degree, this was irrelevant as well. I mean, even this area through here, I thought maybe we catch it. I think it bounced for like a second through here, and then just got clobbered. So yeah, look, I think above, take out basically just take out that wick from the bounce 49. So above 50 in that, you might see a little bit more of a continuation. Though we've had a lot of these sort of sell downs like this kind of stuff here, and it's just come back up. Admittedly, this didn't go all the way up. So how much did they sort of recover off this? Let's get this out of the way. So, yeah. So this one came back up to the 61%, but a bit over obviously, but it couldn't close above the 61%, and then right back down to the lows almost. Um, so look, if we were to look at something similar to this, if we'll be going these highs down to here. I mean, that's equivalent to sort of come back up and retesting the lows of these spikes here. Let's pull this back over here a bit. What I'll do is I'll make this tell the difference of the two. So if this is not saying it's going to do this kind of thing, we'll see what happens. But if you were to get a recovery like that, that's a reasonable area because we've seen it's sort of possible with these big sell downs to then undo a lot of this sort of stuff. And underneath these wicks here, between the 78 and the 61, well, that's pretty relevant. Well, similar to sort of what we just showed a second ago with this big sell down here. So that sort of came up there. So if you were to get a move back like this, that could be a potential area, a retest here. I think if you get up to the 70s, I'd like to sort of try shorting it from here. Um, I missed this move, and I'm again with so much stuff coming up, NFP and the election and all this kind of stuff. I'm skeptical to sort of short things. once you've already seen a large part of the move. So let's get this out of the way because that's not relevant to us now. I think these are your levels really. Above 50, 55, and then sort of we can sort of work on that up there. I think sort of like particularly if you get underneath 42, I'd be surprised if 38 holds, and I'd probably be looking back down at 34. Similar, as I said, again, this is your big sell down. This bounced and then came back down again and then ran. It didn't just go up in a straight V. You don't, I mean, this was a smaller move and this came up in a V, but you don't typically see those kind of recoveries. And as you can see, the market's even just sort of thinking about this a little bit here. So little close above here, close at 50. I think that'll be a trigger for maybe a little bit more of a recovery. But again, it's a tough call, particularly when it's after such a big sell down and NFP tonight. All right. Silver also got blasted. So this is the triangle I was looking at. You can see it sort of thought about it around this zone here, but around the same time, it just gave way, boom, and came all the way smashing down here. So again, look, it's on the lows. We can say, look, this is where the buyers held it overnight. This is a little bounce highs. Pretty straightforward. Go above the bounce highs, and you might see some movement. It's not sort of super rocket science. We've got 12 o'clock just ticking on now, so let's see what they do with the volume, if anything. Look, not a great deal. I don't even know why I had this one down here. Oh, that's right. I was trying to sort of connect these through here. Well, I think that's right, yeah, because I said that one. It was a bit off, actually. I had that as that because I was trying to sort of connect it to make some sort of idea of where this may stop to sort of give a bit of a channel, which would be probably more something like this. Just based off these highs, to try and sort of replicate it down the bottom to give some sort of form of structure to it all. But even if that was, it's really blown out the bottom side. So again, look, it could be a bit of an overshoot. These areas through here are going to be hard to get back through because people would have tried to catch it. People would have tried to catch it. You know what I mean? It's going to be a little bit of a tough move through those levels, even if you do get a little bit of recovery. Copper, the heartbreaker. This one, I actually closed all my positions last night. I took profit up the top over here of this tiny little range, and then of half the position. I got stopped out for the other half down here. I wiped out everything that I made through that part. Oh well, that's life. It's look, it is something that I do think will come. It's just obviously taking a little while longer. We are sort of somewhat respecting that. Mainly this horizontal is obviously the thing that really is holding it up at the moment. I think if you can break those bounce highs and then you can see pretty clear cut levels where you need to get above to sort of say we're moving up a little bit more, but NFP could be the mover for it. So copper's a little bit sort of not so interested sometimes in like sort of these sort of data points. Like it doesn't react the same as say gold or silver may, or obviously DXY. So yeah, we'll see how that sort of goes with it all. But for the time being, I'm just going to sit and I think sort of like once we do get a move up this way, I think there's going to be opportunity to sort of get onto these moves. For now, it's just this is perfect. Like, I mean, trade the range. I traded the range all the way through here. I got out actually on this first pop here, got back in down here, did a couple of times, and then as I said, at the last thing here, profit here, stopped here, flat. And yeah, it's just not worth it. Just in and out. That's the way to go. Like a bandit, mate. Risk bandit. All right, flip across Aussie. Look, a big bounce off the lows here. This is what we were looking for. This move down here. It was looking like, oh, we might have held it here yesterday. I thought maybe this was going to be the move that we were going to see. Obviously it didn't come. Came back down here, tested those lows. So this was the move we got down here, as I was saying. Put on the 4 hour. Support, resistance, support, bang. It's pretty clear cut where it needs to go from here. Above 85, you've got a clear cut move up to just above 69. I'd expect a little bit of a pushback from around here. So this kind of move. And then if it's going to continue, that's what you'd be looking for there. This is potentially not a perfect, but it's one of those which got high heel top sort of kind of things. Looks better on the 4 hour. Okay. sort of little, what's it called? Stiletto thing. Oh, not that one. Delete this. Delete this. This thing, like a shoe thing. We all know what a shoe looks like. Anyway, that's the idea of it. This typically you probably would have wanted to go up like this, sharp down. This is the main part though here. This part here, where it's kind of like down to the lows and then really fast acceleration back off, which gives that little, this part here. Right? This is why it's called a high heel top, because it looks kind of like a shoe, if you can imagine, and that's like the stiletto. It's a very thin, fast shooting part. Confirmation is around this zone here. So take out these highs over here, move up, and that's why we'll see this, and then potentially this to move up like this. Boom. All right, so as I said, above 85, that's what you're looking for in short term. I think up around sort of oh 09, that's a larger sort of area that we've got sort of picked out. I think this could offer a little bit of a short-term price target. Look, it's hard to sort of say and think that this is going to go all the way. But, as I said, these bottoms can be quite profitable in terms of continuation if you get everything lined up. So we've got the little bottom here, we've got the fast shoot up off here, it's tested the lows. It needs to take out these highs over here. Because at the moment, if it doesn't, really, that's what you're looking at. You're just stuck in a little range. And it's overbought. This is on the 4 hour. So if you can get out of the top here, that's a price target. The other price target will be, of course, this, which is enough to sort of say this has been a bit of a range. We can see resistance very clearly here, 2 touches there for the supports. If we make this little measured move, gives you up over here, which is kind of no man's land. I guess maybe actually around the lows of this area over here. So that was where I was trying to short from, which I obviously just did not get an option to. So if we look at that and then over there, that's, I don't know what the hell just happened there. Yeah, so that's, if you get a breakout of here, they're your 2 price targets that I'm looking at. This level through here, and then this one through here. And then, see what happens. We've got, as I said, we've got NFP tonight. Typically before these things, you just don't see much movement. But we'll see. As I said, I think DXY does have a little bit of cooling. I think that's going to flow across to the rest of the markets as well. And Aussie is worthy of a little bit of a bounce off these lows here. Certainly, it has been absolutely bashed down here. So, as I said, look, I don't think it's necessarily going to be the be all end all of coming up over here. Well, certainly not this session, of course. But with this kind of setup at the bottom, if you get this take out of the top here, there is room for a little bit of an upside. If it fails to, if we see that the sellers are still sitting here and still happy to keep it here, well, then you look down at these other zones. You look at 61, which it tried to hold, and that's what I was saying yesterday. 60 was trying to hold it very much. Luckily, just got back up to sort of, I don't know, luckily, whatever. It got back up to sort of close here. If we have a look on the daily, actually, I think that was pretty crucial for it to close at, as you can see here, 59.7 there, 60, basically. That was very crucial for it to close there. So as a daily, you've got the RSI tipping up a little bit here. As I said, you go above this little level here, that'll be flipping the daily candle. And then you look at these kind of levels up through here. So I would say, yeah, if you get the flip, if you get the break of 85, 87, I think that's when you're going to see that as a, okay, now let's give it a little bit of a nudge. You've got the RSI to support it. You got a bunch of wicks down here. You got third bullish day, if this flips, makes it a bullish day, and then can sort of move back, maybe test the low 66s in the short term. China holding that range. It came back down. Obviously, this is where we had that failed breakout. See a bit better on the lower time frames. This is what we were saying the other day. A failed breakout, and this is what we sort of thought would happen. Bang, back down here. And look, yes, nothing goes in a straight line, yada, yada. You could say that that was a little break and retest through here, just as another confirmation of it all. But obviously, sellers step back in where they had been previously. This is why we leave a lot of the lines on the chart. So they get quite messy, I know, but it's important to still know where the sellers have been most recently, and they've sort of come back down here. Obviously, boom, we found a little bit of support around here as we kind of sort of thought we would. And it's a little bit of a bounce, and now we're just sort of consolidating along the support, but really still in this little grind range here. So these kind of moves can sometimes result in little counter swings as well. So we could see something to this sort of effect, just to the same size to do out here, which would come back down in line with this area that we've been kind of expecting for a bit. Like obviously it didn't come down here, but if we do see that little counter swing, back down over here, and then back up into the range over here as well. Goes in line with Aussie maybe testing up into the 60s, 66s, and then possibly selling back down again. So this is how these little ranges work. If you get a failed breakout, resulting in, okay, a little bit of a strong correction here, but there's also the counter swing balance that could obviously say come back down here and then sort of come back up over here. So, there's a couple of levels of support through here. I think if you move this up and you sort of take out this level here, which are these lows of this last little push up, you don't want to just take out these ones because you're coming straight into this support area. If you take out those lows, then I'd be looking for 710 for that level there. All right, cool. I think that's everything covered this morning. In terms of news, back to not too much. So we did have a little bit of stronger Aussie data out 11:30, which has not really seemed to have any effect on Aussie whatsoever. So if we have a look at the half an hour very quickly here, 11:30, it actually saw it sell down, and obviously just a little bit of a bounce here. This is really just being more dictated by what's happening with US dollar across the board. We got Caxton PMI out in 35 minutes. This could be a bit of a market mover, even though it's sort of as a lower uh, rated one or whatever they want to call impact one on this site. Caxton PMIs can affect things a little bit. Higher number there will obviously better for the one, better for Aussie. A couple of sort of bank holidays, parts of Europe, whatever. CPI from Swiss. Geez, wow. I suppose month on month, but still, just no inflation whatsoever. Yeah, almost bought. I suppose they are negative, so it's a de-inflation. Is that the right word? Yeah. Anyway, where are we looking now? And this is the big one here. So massive drop off expected. 254 down to 106. That is a huge drop off. And if that's partly the reason that we're seeing the US dollar cool off now, then a miss, which they've been quite off recently. They were massively off with ADP, massively off last month with NFP. If the market is supposedly pricing for this large drop and then it comes in at, say, even 180, or say it comes in 254 again, a high number, we could see US dollar bring back into life. So yeah, it's something to sort of keep an eye out for. And unemployment rate looking to stay flat. Then ISM, geez, I hate summertime trading in Aussie. Like 1 a.m. on a Friday or Saturday morning, technically. Jesus, it's late to sort of be trading. But yeah, we got ISM numbers there. A little bit low, but obviously expected for slight ticks up. So yeah, it's something to sort of keep in mind as well. All right, that's it from me.